Hey, it's Joey with GeekTyrant.com here in beautiful Las Vegas for CinemaCon 2025, and this is
Billy.
We just got out of the big Warner Brothers presentation, and you know what that means?
Bugs Bunny.
Yes, Bugs. Well, no.
Nope, not as they showed it
They
once.
hate Bugs Bunny. They hate the Looney Tunes.
What
They're
jerks?
kicking the Looney Tunes out. It's crazy. Anyway, DC Studios. James Gunn showed up with Peter Safran, and they were like, hey guys, what's up? We're going to show you some footage from Superman. It was about 5 minutes. They showed us 5 minutes of Superman footage, and this came after a very long Q&A between Gunn, Safran, the stars of the movie, David Corenswet, Rachel Brosnahan, and
your talking has to maybe go blank.
shoot,
So.
Lex Luthor.
Yeah, no, of course. We'll come up with it in a second. I'll just blurt it out.
No, we're gonna do it.
We're gonna start over
We're
again.
gonna start over again. Who is Lex Luthor?
It is what's his name? The Beast.
Oh no.
The kid from About a Boy. Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Hoult. Okay, here we go. Hey, it's Joey with GeekTyrant.com. We're here in Las Vegas covering CinemaCon 2025, and we got
Billy.
with us today,
Yes.
as always.
As always.
Today was the big Warner Brothers presentation, and you know what comes with Warner Brothers?
Bugs Bunny.
No. Well,
Nope.
yes, but also
No.
no, because Warner Brothers hates the Looney Tunes, decided to kick them out of the studio. Why? I don't know,
I don't know.
but they don't like them. Anyway, no. DC Studios. So James Gunn, Peter Safran, they came out and they're like, hey, we want to show you guys some footage from Superman. About 5 minutes they showed us.
Mm-hmm.
5. But before we got to the footage, we had this very long Q&A between Safran, Gunn,
David Corenswet.
David Corenswet, Rachel Brosnahan,
and Nicholas Hoult.
yes, Lex Luthor himself. And they talked for,
A long.
it seemed like an hour, but
Long
it was probably only 15.
It was a half hour because we were supposed
Okay.
to get a full 45 minutes. They did a half hour and then 5 minutes of setup for the 5-minute clip that we're about to have.
Oh, and then James Gunn comes out and he's like, hey, we're going to show you some cool stuff. We're going to make some announcements. And then after they showed the footage, they walked off stage and there were no announcements to be made.
Zero
It's like,
announcements.
what happened? Anyway,
They wasted time.
you were here for the footage excitement, the footage reaction. So here we go. Here we go. Superman crash lands on Hoth. Okay, not really, but he's in Iceland.
Just lots of ice.
You know how the first of the trailer, the trailer that's online, that whole thing happens at the start of the clip that we're seeing. You know, in the trailer that we saw, Krypto comes running up, licks his face, and Superman's like spits out blood, and he's like, "Take me home," and so he drags him home. But there's a lot more to it.
Yeah, this is a scene that's a little bit more extended. We got a story about James Gunn's dog and how his dog listens to nobody and will bite him and jump around on him. Well, that's what we got.
So Krypto is this energetic, wild, crazy dog. When he comes running up to Superman, who's like on the verge of, looks like death.
He's broken.
Krypto's just jumping on him. He's biting his
Biting
feet.
him.
He's dragging him around. And Superman's just like, stop.
Stop it, Krypto.
He's like he's in pain. He's just grunting in pain as Krypto's trying to play with him. And it takes him a while before he's like, take me home. He's like, take me home.
So, when I watched the trailer, when he said "take me home," I don't know why, but I always associated Metropolis. I always thought he was going to take him back into Metropolis.
No, because he's on Hoth.
I know. Hoth doesn't have much. But when he says "take me home," Krypto starts dragging him slowly, and then we see the Fortress of Solitude erupt from the ground.
Wow.
It
was pretty cool.
It was
like,
very cool.
very awesome. You see this beautiful Fortress of Solitude just coming up and just
out of the
mountain
ice.
of
Just
crystal and awesomeness.
greatness.
Yeah, and then they get to the door with a big Superman symbol on it. Krypto barks, and it opens.
To a bunch of robots.
Yep, bunch of servant robots.
Yep. The conversation was funny. We're going to let you have that experience for yourself. But they essentially are there to help Superman get better. You notice they called him Superman also? Which is kind of...
Oh, yeah, they did, didn't
they call him Superman.
So anyway, they take him, they pick him up, they throw him in this chair, and then...
They have this conversation about how much sunlight he's going to need to heal.
Yes.
And this is where things got so fun.
And you're like, okay, this is good. This is interesting.
Yep.
And then we get an outside... or go ahead.
Well, first the doors open.
I know you were going for that. Okay.
Like if you've been in an observatory, it's like the observatory opens, and there's a bunch of lenses, and they say, we're going to need this much. And then you get an outside shot of the Fortress of Solitude. And the whole fortress just turns from the outside. Right.
You're just like, whoa.
It's cool to get to the right
that's
sun
awesome.
position, and then they blast him with sun. They put these glass
They're like magnifying glasses.
Yeah.
You know how you do that with you burn ants with it?
Well, they
basically burn Superman to life.
To life. It's weird, but it was cool because...
But it hurt. Like, Superman was like, oh, shit.
Because when they were talking about his injuries,
they
said...
say shit, though.
No. He had 6 broken ribs. His bladder was perforated. They were talking about all this crazy stuff, all these injuries, and that's how they got how much sun he needed. It was so cool.
And then after he screams in pain, we get to all these quick cuts of like
from the trailer.
From the trailer, but there's some of them that are extended, so we're
longer.
hearing little bits of dialogue we've never heard before. But it's all happening so fast. But yes, most of those clips are from the trailer.
Yeah.
And then it ends. How does it end?
It ends with him leaving the Fortress of Solitude completely.
Oh, that's right.
Completely healed, and Krypto wanting to go with him.
Well, first, and not only is Krypto wanting to go with him, this whole trailer was basically, or not even trailer, sneak peek was Krypto and Superman's relationship and what that looks like. So Superman's walking out there where Krypto's like running around and he's like nipping at his heel.
Biting his foot.
He's like, stop biting me. Like, this is crazy. Like, what are you doing, you dumb dog? Like, that's how Superman is very annoyed.
Yeah, very annoyed by Krypto. But then
he's got stuff to do.
Right. And
he's whatever beat the hell out of him, he's got to go back up and beat it. Whatever it was.
But Krypto wants to go and help, but Superman turns around and says, no, stay. And Krypto whines, and you heard the whole audience like, aww. Yep, and then
Superman stops for a minute, like, ugh, I feel bad that I have to leave this dog here.
And then, boom!
But without a hesitation, he jets back into action.
And it was a really cool takeoff. Like, it was... It's weird to describe. When you guys see it, you'll know what I mean. It's not... He took off like not... All the other Supermen do this thing. He just went straight out.
Yeah, it was really interesting, really cool. So
yeah.
It was a fun clip.
It was fun.
And it looks like a fun movie. Now, I was expecting, like... I knew we were going to get more Superman footage. I was expecting, like, a new trailer, an extended trailer. But I was not expecting Krypto and Superman relationship. This is what this looks like.
Right.
And so it was a lot of fun. But there's still so much that we want to see. We want to see what is the relationship like with Lex? What is the relationship like with Guy Gardner? What is the relationship like with Lois Lane and all these other characters? Like, I'm curious about those too.
Yep.
So it's you know, we got something fun, but I also want to see what else is going on because it still wasn't enough to give me like what I was looking for.
Yeah,
but it was still fun.
It was fun. I told Joe right when we walked out, I was not entertained by it, and then it took me a second, and I was like, no, I really enjoyed what we saw. I wanted more.
I had to take it through a therapy session.
Yeah,
basically. We were
we were angry on the stairs.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, because I liked it. I was like, oh, I had fun with it.
Yeah, it was fun.
And he gave me a thumbs down. I'm like, really? Like, what did you see?
I was being a selfish butthole, is what I was doing.
And so we had a therapy conversation.
Yeah.
I had to talk him down and explain, like, hey, they can't show us the whole movie tonight.
And I still don't understand why they couldn't, because I would really like that. But okay, guys, please give this a chance. It looks like a lot of fun. James Gunn, this is like, as he admitted, this is like a passion project that he's wanted to do when he started making films and just didn't want to give us a lousy story until he finally figured a good one out.
He was actually offered it in 2018, he said.
Yep.
And he turned it down to do Suicide Squad because he just didn't have the story in his head for Superman. He's like, I can't do Superman. But apparently, finally clicked. Here we are. We're getting a Superman movie from Gunn. I trust Gunn. I like everything that Gunn's made.
Yep.
So I think it's hard to think that he's not going to pull it off because I'm pretty confident that he will.
Me too. So please, guys, based on what we saw, we were thoroughly entertained for that 5 minutes.
Well, you weren't until I told
until
you
I realized
you were.
until I realized what I was saying. I was just jealous that I didn't get to see any more. So that's a good sign, right? You want to see more? So go see it in the theaters, man.
Way to turn that on its head. Way to give it a positive spin. There,
right,
Bill.
exactly. But we do want to see it in the biggest theater that we could find.
Yeah, this one has to be seen in theaters, guys,
it's
for
epic.
reals. So
yeah.
But yeah, thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Superman, very excited. Finally coming out this year. And let's hope it delivers the epicness that we all want it to be.
Yep.
And until then, see you at the movies.